Hello and welcome to There's No Place Like Summer Camp. I'm Andrew Waterhouse, and in this week's episode we're going over the rules that you should bend while at camp. It's going to be an interesting one, so come on into our tent and I'll spill the beans. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of There's No Place Like Summer Camp. Now in this week's episode it's a little bit on the dodgy side of things compared to all of the other ones. This one's going to be a cracker. So before we begin, I really need to make a mention of all of the rules and stuff and all of the procedures about camp that I do stick by, and then we're going to go into the juicy stuff. So first off the bat is smoking and alcohol, because all camps have various different rules regarding these two products. Are they products? I don't think they are. So make sure you follow the rules with regards to where you can smoke, if you can drink, when you can drink, how often, all that good stuff, because if you do break any of these two rules, it's most likely that you're going to get kicked out of camp. Second on the list that I really do stick by is poor performance. If you're turning up to the job and you're tired and you're really poor with the kids and they're not enjoying themselves, you're not enjoying yourself, you're not teaching the kids anything, you're not adding anything to the camp experience, it could be that you might get let off, because at the end of the day they are paying you to do a good job out there, and it's quite hard to do a poor job. It's all about motivation and stuff, and I'm sure the camp will bring this up with you if they do notice that the standards are slipping. But if you continue to let them slide, you could be out the door. Drugs is an obvious one. Of course, you can't take drugs while at camp. You're volunteering and all these parents have let you have their kids for the summer. So if you're taking drugs, get the fuck out. Next up is abuse, which is a pretty simple one. You don't want to be abusing the kids. And same for child protection too. Now we crack on to the juicy stuff. These are the rules at camp that I believe you can bend to a degree to get the most out of your summer camp experience. The first one is late nights, and different camps have different levels of curfew and times that you have to be in bed by, when you need to wake up by. But one of the things that I really did bend to the extreme while at camp was the late nights, because I wanted to stay up for as long as possible. I'm a night owl myself, and I wanted to make the most of every single hour I was out there, because when you don't, you do miss out on so much different stuff. You miss out on all the gossip and all the stories, and you're missing out on about, an extra 10% of camp. So if you do stay up for that a little bit longer past the curfew, hanging out with all your friends that are all come round from around the world, you're never going to be able to see them again. So you want to make the most of this time together, have some laughs and have some fun. So next up is phone use. And this is pretty obvious what a phone is. That's a phone. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. While at camp, you're going to be told a lot of the times that you can't bring your phone. You've got to leave your phone back at the cabin. You can't bring it out with you. But from my personal experience, this does not really happen, because not many people wear a watch around camp. Instead, they use their phone to tell the time and when the next lesson is. And it's also great to just have it on you anyway, because you'll be able to take photos, you'll be able to catch up with your friends when you get a little bit of downtime. But if you're on your phone while the kids are there and you're texting, calling and all this stuff, that's really not good. I could see you getting a slap on the wrist for that. But when it comes to rules to bend, bring your phone, take photos, have fun, just don't rub it into the kid's face. The third rule that I think is acceptable to bend is adding campers on social media. And this can be a bit of a touchy subject, but if you hear me out, hopefully you will agree with me. You're spending all this time with the campers at your summer camp, and you make such strong connections with some of them that you want to hear how they're doing outside of the camp bubble. And especially when you're an international and you're across a different whole country or continent even, and you want to keep a tab on how they're doing. And especially after camp finishes, after you finished, you can add your favourite campers onto social media. You can see how they're doing. And a lot of the times they request you, because they are very savvy with their tech and social networks. So if you just accept them after camp finishes, I think that'll be okay. And you can keep tabs on your favourite campers. Okay, so we're on to the fourth, I believe. It's the fourth. This is drinking away from camp. This is a very touchy subject because I mentioned earlier about the alcohol thing, but bear with me, camp leaders and all you camp directors and people that want to kick my head off right now, because when you get the time off from camp, you're allowed to go out of camp and do as you please for 1 or 2 days max, and a lot of the time it's a time to unwind, relax and get ready for the next set of campers to come in. And in my personal experience, this really helps when you're having like a drink with a meal, something like that. These are the sorts of rules that you can bend. It's a different story when you have an evening off and you go out, get smashed and come back and then expect to be let in. That's not really going to happen. But the rules to bend is kind of a personal judgment of how much drink you can really have. If you're going to have a drink with a meal, I think that's okay. But if you're going to come back smashed, you're probably not going to get let in and you'll probably get kicked out. And finally on this list of the best rules to bend while at camp, and you'll be very pleased to hear, in a word, I'm not going to elaborate, it's hookups. Okay, so that was the 5 rules to bend while you are at camp. Please do take these, not literally, but kind of like a little taster of what's to come when you come to camp. I don't want to be like slapped on the wrist for saying, oh, you told my kid to drink loads of alcohol while you're out there. I'm like, no, if you watch the video, I didn't say that. So please go and enjoy yourselves out of camp. That's the main thing that's going to come out of all of this. I want you to enjoy it. I want the campers to enjoy it. I want everyone to have a great time. So these are the kind of a taster of the rules that you could expect to bend. But of course, every camp's different. Every camp has their own rules as well. So make sure you listen to those. And most of all, have fun. In next week's episode, we are going over the steps to take to get to camp. So if you've never applied to camp before, you've watched all of my episodes up until now, and you're really excited to get to camp, you should stay around for the next week's episode because it's going to be pretty cool. The application process from point A to point B and all the stuff in between. So it's really cool. Hopefully you'll be there. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoyed. Please subscribe to the podcast if you enjoyed. And you can also follow me on Twitter at AndrewW09. And I'll make a quick plug for my book as well. That's called There's No Place Like Summer Camp. And it's the book that I kept while over in summer camp. So it's the diary that I kept. I wrote down every day how it went, and it's a really great insight into how summer camp runs. So hopefully you enjoyed. You can check that out. That's at shop.andrewwaterhouse.com. And next week I shall see you for the tips to get to camp. I'll see you in a week's time.